this is video 2 of website creation for Methods in Educational Technology at Avila University. So this is one of the content pages on my website. I always start a content page off with the learning target and the desired outcome for students. I have gamified my classroom by offering badges for mastering the learning. So the badge appears at the top of the page, sometimes a little cartoon or image relating to what we're learning. And then I get to the parts of my math learning targets. In this learning target, I can use the order of operations to interpret numerical expressions. In our proficiency scale, there were several little subtopics for this target. One of them happened to be adding and subtracting whole numbers, because at 5th grade we really do have to brush up on their regrouping skills. So I have some flipped videos there. I have some flipped videos from my colleagues at our other 5-6 building on the same topic, and sometimes I'll put in some songs or things to help them remember. The next part of the learning target is multiplying whole numbers, and you can see I showed a progression to help with differentiation. I always have some 5th graders that come to me that can do 3-digit by 1-digit, or that's sometimes where they need to start their learning. Then we move up to 2-digit by 2-digit and 2-digit by 3-digit multiplication. Again, videos from my colleagues in the other building. Sometimes some extra practice. Should have been some division in there, but it looks like being my first year back at math, I may not have gotten that included. We go through exponents, and in 5th grade, we go exponents with a base of 10. So for extension students, I labeled that level 4 because that's above our learning target. And I did do a flipped video on using exponents with bases that are other than 10 so that those students that are ready to go after that concept could. Oh, here's the division. Division is very similar to multiplication. I have to start at various places teaching that part of the learning target. Sometimes I have students that are with 1-digit divisors, and we're going back to manipulatives and really trying to get the concept of what is dividing. I'll have other groups that really need to work on when there's a 0 in the quotient to make sure that they don't skip places. Multiples of 10, 2-digit divisors, but you can see that as I go down this page, I've broken my learning target up into chunks and really tried to differentiate based on those chunks my videos. I end the bottom of the page with some online resources in a Symbaloo, and I will show you all about Symbaloo coming up and help you link one into your website. So for this learning target, this method of setting up my content pages in my website was very logical, sequential this way. I'm going to go ahead and flip back to last year's website because I do have some other examples. Not everybody is math-minded and has learning targets that flow with those skills like that. When I taught social studies and science for the past few years, my content pages were organized very differently. And your thought process and organization of your content pages in your website might be very different than mine. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what I have found works for me. So I'm going to come through social studies and look at China because I believe that I've got a blend space linked in, and I do. So China, I had essential questions at the top. We learned ancient civilizations in 6th grade social studies, and my ancient China page revolved around a blend space. So we always started by creating a map and using other little maps to compile the information to get a complete map of China that the students created. So by this point in class, they were trained, they knew to go into this blend space and follow it page by page to create a map of China. Some students would create that map digitally. Others would ask for a copy and create it on paper. From there, for this learning target, we went into some reading, which were pieces from our textbook. And then for culture, we had a group of stations that we did in the classroom, and one of them was online. But you can see all of my ancient civilizations are organized by geography, culture, and then we would move on and look at key things that happened in those civilizations. Science learning targets were sometimes very different and sometimes had sub-pages, but still normally started with a learning target. And then I got to the point where I was good at listing out the subtopics that students would have to know to get their 3 or show mastery on that learning target. We had some notes that we linked in, another Symbaloo that we created for that learning target, and then a lot of that one came in the sub pages of the topic because there were so many different parts to that learning target that year. So the sub pages oftentimes held a video. In this case, there were several songs because there are some really good 5th and 6th grade science teachers out there that have a talent with writing parody songs to help students understand the content. So that had some of the parody songs. And then we went through plate tectonics. But really what I want you to see out of these sites is that there's no one correct way to organize your content pages. Whatever works for you in organization is going to be what you need to use. Again, for your learning target, you need to be able to do these things. I had found a video that I think someone else created at this point. There's another blend space in this page that kind of led students through their learning about plate tectonics and Pangea, and then the plate boundaries down there. So this video has just been to show you a couple of different options you have when creating content pages for your website. Please don't feel like you have to use one of my templates. I just offer these as an option so that you can see different ways to organize content on your website. So I will link to these 2 websites that belong to me in Canvas. So if you get stuck and just want to go refresh, then I'll link to these 2 websites for you.